Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad that you've all managed to get online. Sorry about the slight technical hitch there, but thank you for joining us this afternoon to find out all about our Year 5 trip to PGL. Thank you for showing an interest and filling in the forms. I think obviously looking ahead to September, we're very hopeful that the trip will be able to go ahead. Obviously, there's a question mark, I'm sure, in all of our minds about what's going to happen. So I think what's important to remember is that we will make sure as a school, we will go down to PGL just beforehand, a few days before, and make sure that we're happy with the arrangements. And obviously, if there's government guidance in the meantime, that means that we can't go on a residential trip, then we'd obviously make sure that we cancelled. And obviously we've spoken to PGL about money, getting money, keeping the money and moving it forward, things like that. So I just want to reassure you that I'm very determined that we try and carry on. I'm very determined that we try to get back and start our programme of residential trips. I think it's such an important thing for the children to have that opportunity to go away with their peer group. It just does wonders for their independence and their resilience, and helps them really form some lovely friendships. And it really brings out that community spirit, because they all join together and help each other through all aspects of the day and the night probably, but it's really, really good for them. But I just thought it was important to reassure you that we will obviously be extremely mindful of the guidance, and also we will visit PGL, as I say, just before, and if we're not happy with the arrangements, then we will obviously have to cancel. But obviously the safety of your daughters comes first, obviously, as we embark on this. So this evening I've got Mrs. Brown with me, because Mrs. Brown has been to Osmington several times and been on various trips to PGL, and I've also got Miss Moran as a Year 4 tutor here as well. She's just not within the screen. She will be here as well, because obviously I'm sure this will generate lots of discussion and excitement amongst the children and yourselves, and she will know then exactly what's been said, and so can field any questions that might come in. And I know people have submitted questions already, and so those will be answered. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Mrs. Brown, and thank you very much for joining.
Okay, hello everybody. We thought we've got a list of information that we feel that you will want to know. We've obviously looked through the Google responses, so we're aware of some questions, and they are the questions that we do get every year, so we will reassure you with all of those. I'm hoping the chat facility might be on, so if a question comes up during this, then please just type it in and we will do our best to keep monitoring the chat so we can answer those. Like Mrs. Pugh said, we've actually taken the girls to PGL for a number of years. It used to be a Year 6 trip, and we took them over to the Isle of Wight, and then we thought it's so important that the girls experience residential trips and those experiences that come with them. So we shifted the trip down to Year 5, and we took our last year's Year 5 at the beginning of the year because we felt it was a really good bonding situation for them. Hence, that's why we've put it in September and not in the summer term. And PGL Osmington Bay is absolutely fantastic. The facilities are incredible. They have their ratio to children, their PGL staff to children is brilliant. They offer so many activities, and we don't find out our activities until just before we go. So what we do is, from experience, we select our favourite activities, and it's a real range of things. There are some that test their bravery. There's some that test their team working skills. And we never force a child to do them, but actually it's very rare that a child chooses not to do the activity because they have such amazing support from their friends. They all cheer them on and encourage them, and it's brilliant. So every activity that we do, you have a Talbot Heath member of staff there and at least one PGL trained leader for each activity, and they move around in groups of about 10 girls in a group. We will request a water-based activity, and we actually get to go to the Olympic Sailing Academy to do that. So last year we did dragon boating, took the girls there, they go on a coach with the PGL instructors and they go and do a water-based activity. So we try and get that arranged as well, because we feel that that's really important. So we get there at about lunchtime on the first day, and they have 2 activities in the afternoon, and then they have an evening activity that's run by the PGL leaders that they absolutely love. And we have a dedicated PGL leader to our school, so they come every morning, every lunchtime, they make sure they're all okay in the dining room, and they are our contact. So however much they will have different instructors for different activities, we have our own PGL leader, and they teach them some lovely songs that you will hear for months afterwards, and I'm sure you'll appreciate them. So that's brilliant. Just going through, so I've done that. The rooms, what happens is we request, they're like cabins. So what we have is a row of cabins. They're completely separate to other schools. They open out onto an external walkway, and you have teachers either end of that row of cabins. The girls at night, they can obviously get out with their lock from the inside, but no one can get in, and the staff keep keys. So us as Talbot Heath staff have the keys to those rooms. Those rooms are all en suite. They sleep between 4 and 6 girls in bunk beds, and the PGL provide the bedding for those. And we've been and looked at actually a number, when we've looked at changing it and thinking, oh, can we get a better price somewhere else? And we've looked at other places, actually PGL's accommodation is superior to everyone else. It's really clean, it's a decent size, it's really safe. So they are really in a safe situation. And however much there's other schools on site, you don't really feel that they're there a lot of the time because of the way that the site is set out. The site is also totally secure. There's fencing around it. There's an electric gate at the entrance, so people have to be buzzed in and out, and the security that patrol at night as well. So we are really, really safe. And we have dedicated TH staff members on duty each evening, and the girls are made very aware as to who that is, and if there was an issue, how they find us, and we will parade up and down until we know that they are all asleep and they are all happy, and we'll be up before, well, we hope we'll be up before any of them in the morning. We shall see. Okay, so that's sleeping around. Oh, room allocations. What we do is we ask the girls to put a selection of friends down before we go to PGL, so they get to say who they would like to be in a room with, and we guarantee that they would be with one of those friends. It might be that they're with all of them. It just depends on, obviously, on us allocating the space. And we're very aware as well as to if there have been any friendship situations. We're very aware, and obviously when we allocate the rooms, we take that into account. So they will be able to select who they are with, but from previous experience, we don't tell them until we get to PGL. So that's part of the exciting bit. We arrive at PGL, then we go to see where the rooms are, and then they find out who's in their room. We find that works really well rather than telling them in advance. We will also create groups for the day for those activities. So even if they don't get everyone from their list for their room at night. We will also take into account their preferences for their groups in the day, and we will mix across classes if we feel that that's what's beneficial for everyone. So you might be in a room with 3 friends, but have 3 other very good friends in your group activity during the day. Kit list, we will provide a kit list at the end of this term. So you've got the summer holidays. We don't expect people to go out and buy lots of new things. It's a very basic kit list. If we were doing a water activity, they would provide us with wetsuits and life jackets and anything, but it's just that what clothing needs to be bought, and the girls will have a tick list that they can tick it off when you pack it at home, and also when they pack it to come back with all their washing after the 2 nights and 3 days. There is a no phone policy at PGL, but also that's a Talbot Heath policy as well. We don't allow them to bring devices that they can then contact home. And the reason being is the 1 year someone did bring one, it actually caused homesickness because they felt that they can contact their parent. Obviously, staff will have mobile phones. If we need to contact any parent, we will do that. We will have contact lists with us, and we promise you, if there's any issues, we will contact you. But we feel like the girls having access to phones, it just doesn't work. And also in their rooms, we can't possibly monitor 40 children as to what they're accessing on their phones. So that's the rule for Talbot Heath and the rule for PGL, that there's no mobile phones that come with us. However, we will, as staff, update social media constantly with photographs of the girls doing their activities, update when everyone's gone to sleep. We normally update and say, and take a photo and say all is quiet, and then the next morning everyone slept well. So you will, if you follow us on Twitter and probably Facebook, then we will put as many updates as soon as our iPads link through onto the Wi-Fi at PGL. We will constantly update, so daily update you with what the girls have been doing. Food is my next thing on the list. So PGL provide food apart from the first lunch, where we ask the girls to bring a packed lunch. There is a dedicated area in the dining room that will just be for Talbot Heath. We have a specific time slot that we go, and it means everything flows really, really well. So however much other schools are there, they're not in our area. They're not having their lunch and dinner and breakfast served at the same time as us. So you're not queuing for ages. They have a massive variety of food. And they also, if someone really felt that they could not eat anything that was provided, our dedicated leader would then try and get the kitchen to provide something else. Sorry, Mrs. Oh, and dietary requirements, they will cope with anything. The menus are so clear. It says next to each meal, whether it's gluten-free, whether it's vegetarian, egg, anything like that, we can cater for. And we would make sure that obviously we've got dietary requirements at school anyway, but we will ask you for those again prior to PGL. Also on that list, which I haven't got here, but I've just thought of it, if anyone takes medication and it's a daily medication need, then we have a teacher, a Talbot Heath teacher, who will be the allocated first aider. And we'll have a little bit of I'm trying to think, it's a walk-in clinic in the morning and the evening. So we call the girls, we know, we have a special form where we tick off that they've taken their medication. We watch them do it. It's very, very organised. We have got it down to a fine art. So yeah, everything that's done has a Talbot Heath member of staff. Even if it's an activity led by PGL, there is always a Talbot Heath member of staff with the girls or in the vicinity. So we are there at every point. There is no valuable items is the next thing. What we don't want is the girls are so excited and running around, they bought something that's really valuable to themselves and it gets lost on site. However, girls that are listening, you are allowed to bring your favorite teddy bear if you want to. So don't feel that you can't bring your teddy that you sleep with every evening. So you can bring something if there's something that's a comfort when you're going to sleep that you want to have in bed with you, that's fine. We just ask that it fits in your bag. We did have an enormous bear one year that came to the Isle of Wight on the ferry. Larger than a suitcase. It was quite tricky to carry, but something that fit in your bag would be wonderful. There is a shop on site, so the girls can bring £10, and we have an allocated time over the 3 days where we can take them to the shop, and there's lots of PGL things to buy, so they do love that. It's good experience coming from our the maths side, good experience spending money and getting change, so we like all of that. So they can bring the £10 with them. Teachers, form shooters. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Miss Moran's just writing me some extra notes on my piece of paper as we go along. I think on the Google form, we have had a request as to which teachers are going. That hasn't been decided at the moment. There will be 4 or 5 members of staff. It will be the year 5 form teachers plus others. But as you know, the girls go between all of us during the day anyway, so they don't stay with their form teachers. They know everybody in junior school really, really well. So the adults that would be going would be members of staff that the girls know and are comfortable with, but we can't tell you that yet because we're not really sure of that yet. So that will be something that's decided just before the trip. Have I done how many girls in a group for an activity? I think I've done that. Can they pick phones? Okay. On a final note, and then if anyone wants to put anything in the chat, I'm sure a few of you know, I have 2 daughters at Talbot Heath. They've been here since kindergarten. They're in senior school. They both did the PGL trip, and it was one of the best experiences that they have ever done. And still now, one of my daughters is in lower 6, and still now, when you say, oh, I'm going to PGL or taking the girls, they are so jealous because it is just a phenomenal trip. We've never had any girl coming back not having enjoyed it. And the most incredible thing is when they don't want to do something and they get encouraged, and we don't force them, but they get encouraged and they do something, and the pride when they've conquered a fear is absolutely amazing. And it's so lovely as staff to see that. And that's the sort of thing we'll report back to you on, and we'll take loads and loads of photos. But it is just the best trip, and the girls all love it. And we have had girls that have been a little bit homesick on the first night, but I'm a mum, we've got lots of mums. Every member of staff at Talbot Heath cares so much about these girls that we will look after them as though they are our own children. And I can promise you, if there's any upset, then we will resolve it and we will be there for them. If they're anxious about anything, then we will all be there to help. And then my final information is, if you would like your child to go to PGL, we have sent out a Google form. I know some people have filled it in. If you could fill it in with your request to come. Is there a no on it as well?
Yeah, I agree.
So let us know either way, because we need to secure our place at PGL, and then finance will send you an invoice for your first deposit. Then we send that through to PGL, so we do 2 payments, and that secures our spot at Osmington Bay. So if there are any questions, I'm hoping the chat's working, or you could just put your hand up and we'll unmute you if anyone's got any questions. No. Have I covered everything? Nothing on the chat. I don't know how to do the chat. That was
see where it says chat.
Where does it say that? I'm not sure the chat is working. So
Mrs. Eels, head of IT, said no chat. Sorry.
Oh, I think
there's no chat
because of assembly.
Okay, if there isn't a chat, so if you your girls will know, if you want to virtually raise a hand, then we can unmute you. Or if you're all happy, then no. Okay. Feel like I might have covered it all. Oh, no, hang on.
Oh, there's.
I'm going to unmute, ask to unmute.
Hi, good evening. It's Evangeline, Dad. A quick question about water activities. So we know that in the school at the moment, the children are being divided between dolphins and sharks for the 4M class, and that split is uneven because of the staffing ratios. How will the swimming ability or water confidence be assessed for the trip?
Part of your form that we send out to you would be confirming that your child can swim, I think it's 20 meters unaided, and water-based activities would only be if your daughter could swim unaided for that distance. So that's something that we would ask you, that PGL ask us to confirm to them. Obviously, we need parents to confirm that rather than swimming teachers at school, just because risk-wise. But they are all in life jackets. They are, oh, we've got someone in the waiting room. And the ratio to the water-based activities, you obviously have a higher PGL staff ratio to those activities, but it will be something that's on the form that gets sent to you so that we can send that information through.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If you do come up with any questions at any point, and when the meeting finishes and you think, oh, I wish that I just asked that, then please email us, email Mrs. Pugh, she's saying, and then we can then,
JSHM.
so the JSHM@talbotheath.org, and we can respond to any questions. We've been taking the girls, like I say, for years and years. So we trust PGL so much. We have all been, so we can probably respond to your questions. If we can't, then obviously we've got a dedicated PGL reservation lady that can answer the questions for you. We've got another question. Asked to unmute.
Yeah, hi there.
Hi.
Nadia's father, as far as if a parent has a particular concern, is anybody at the school or any of the teachers contactable?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can contact the school. We will have our mobile phones with us, so the school would then contact us, and there's constant communication between senior leadership and the staff on site. So morning, lunch, evening, but we will have, as staff, mobile phones on us all the time, and that's on our risk assessment.
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. Yeah.
On duty.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, no worries. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving your time and coming to the meeting. Hopefully, we've got lots of excited children desperate to go with us. But like we say, any questions at any point, please contact us. The deposit we need to send by the 7th of June. So we will need a yes or no. So even if it's a no, if you could possibly fill out the Google form just so we can confirm to PGL the numbers. And then the earlier we get in, the more pressure we can put on to have the cabins that we want, because we know exactly where we want to be, and get the girls the best cabins and the best activities. So thank you very much for coming. Oh, Mrs. Pugh's just going to say goodbye.
Okay, I was just going to say thank you. Thank you. Oh,
You're not there.
No, I'm not there yet. Thank you all for coming this evening, and I think also being reassured that members of staff who go have been before. We've got lots of experience of taking residential trips, and as I say, Talbot Heath staff will be there all the time, and there'll be a number that you can ring 24 hours a day. and there'll be a senior leader on duty at PGL and back here 24 hours a day. So don't worry at all. We will be keeping in close communication, and hopefully all the girls will have a really enjoyable time. So thank you very much, and hopefully we'll have, as Mrs. Brown said, lots of excited children, and you can all book that in your diary for perhaps a rest over that couple of days. Okay, anyway, thank you very much, and see you soon. Okay, goodbye.